Hello students, hope you are all doing well and having a good time enjoying this beautiful weather. As your first teachers, we have already resumed our duties and back in school. The school does not look the same without you all. We are missing you all and wish and hope that things get better soon and life gets normal as it was. Until then, the learning has to go on, so be in touch with your teachers with the help of the school app and the other WhatsApp groups. Constantly watch the videos and try to complete the work that is assigned to you all so that there is no backlog when the school reopens. Today I am going to begin with chapter 4 from your maths textbook, the chapter on fractions. Before we begin with this chapter, I want you all to have a clear idea about the basic concepts regarding fractions. So I will present to you all some slides to understand the beginning concepts of fractions clearly. First of all, what do you mean by a fraction? A fraction actually represents a part of a whole. Now here you can see a circle. The circle is divided into 8 equal parts. Out of the 8 equal parts, 3 parts are shaded. So if I want to tell how much of the circle is shaded, I will say 3/8 of the circle is shaded. Because out of the 8 parts, 3 parts are shaded. The digit 3 is called the numerator of the fraction and the digit 8 is called the denominator of the fraction. Very important that whenever you want to express anything as a fraction, the object has to be divided into equal parts. As you can see in this figure also, the circle is divided into 8 equal parts. How will we express this 3/8 on the number line? We know that 3/8 is having a value more than 0 but less than 1. So where exactly will it lie on the number line? It will lie somewhere between 0 and 1. To understand its actual position, let us divide the space between 0 and 1 into 8 equal parts. Now 3/8 will be located on the third of this 8 equal parts as seen in the slide. Now having understood this, let us try to define what are fractions. The numbers of the form a upon b, where a and b are natural numbers, are called fractions. So a upon b, where a and b can be any natural number. In this slide, you can see what is the difference between the word fraction and fractional number. When we write it in digits like 1/2, it is called a fraction. When we write it in words like 1/2, it is called a fractional number. Similarly, 2/3 is a fraction. 2/3 will be a fractional number. 1/4 is a fraction. 1/4 is a fractional number. 3/5 is a fraction and 3/5 is a fractional number. So these are some basic things that you need to know about fractions. Now let us go to the first concept under this topic of fractions, that is equivalent fractions. What are equivalent fractions? Let us understand this with the help of the 4 circles shown on the slide. If you notice, the 4 circles are divided into different parts. The first circle is divided in 2 parts. The second circle is divided into 4 parts. The third one into 6 parts and the fourth one into 8 parts. In the first circle, one out of the 2 parts are shaded and we express it as 1/2. In the second circle, 2 out of the 4 parts are shaded and it is expressed as 2/4. In the third circle, 3 out of the 6 parts are shaded and it is expressed as 3/6. In the fourth circle, 4 out of the 8 parts are shaded and it is expressed as 4/8. Now if you notice, the numerators and denominators are different in all the 4 circles. But the quantity of the shaded portion is the same. Look at the circles carefully and see the quantity of the shaded portion. The shaded portion in all the 4 circles is the same. Now such fractions are called equivalent fractions. Okay children, I hope what I showed you on the slides is clear to you. Let me come back to the concept on equivalent fractions. I just showed you all how the 4 circles which were expressed as different fractions actually had the same value of shaded portion. Now these kind of fractions are equivalent fractions because their values are basically equal. The 4 fractions were 1 upon 2, 2 upon 4, 3 upon 6 and 4 upon 8. We call these fractions equivalent. We can put the equal sign since their values are equal. Now the most important thing that we need to understand in equivalent fraction is how to obtain an equivalent fraction from another fraction. For example, I have the fraction 1 upon 2 and I say it is equal to 2 upon 4. Now how do we obtain 2 upon 4 from 1 upon 2? So you can obtain equivalent fractions by multiplying the fraction in the numerator and denominator by any non-zero number. So from 1 to get this number 2, I have to multiply it by 2. Now whichever digit you multiply in the numerator, the same digit you have to multiply in the denominator. So 1 upon 2 is multiplied by 2 in the numerator and denominator. And when I do this, I get this other equivalent fraction 2 upon 4. Similarly, you can also get equivalent fractions by dividing the numerator and denominator by any non-zero number. Let us consider this fraction 3 upon 6 and its equivalent fraction 1 upon 2. Let's see how from 3 upon 6 I can obtain 1 upon 2. Here I have shown you all multiplication to obtain another equivalent fraction. Here we will see how by dividing we can get another equivalent fraction. So 3 upon 6 I am going to divide by 3 in the numerator and 3 in the denominator. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So equivalent fractions can be obtained either by multiplying the numerator and denominator or by dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, I hope so far the concept of fractions is clear to you all. Now let's go to exercise 4a. Now in exercise 4a, question 1, question 2 and question 3, you will get answer on the basis of the explanation that I have already given in the slide. Let's go to question number 4. Write 5 fractions equivalent to each of the following. I will not solve the same example. I will take another one so that you can get a clear idea of how to solve it. So let's go to question 4. Write 5 fractions equivalent to each of the following. I am taking an example 3 upon 5. Now how will I get equivalent fractions? I have told you to get an equivalent fraction you either need to multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by any non-zero number. Now, if you look at this fraction 3 upon 5, there is no number which can divide the numerator and denominator. So I will not use the division part here. Instead I will use the multiplication to get the equivalent fraction. So let me first multiply it by 2. If we multiply it by 1, we will get the same fraction back. So let us multiply it by 2 in the numerator and denominator. When I multiply it by 2, I get my first equivalent fraction 6 upon 10. I need 5. So I will do one more. This time I will multiply by 3's. So I will get 9 upon 15. I need 5, so I need to do this 5 times. Here I will multiply by 4. You can take any non-zero number. Here I will take 5s and here I will take 6. So in this case 3 multiplied by 4 is 12, 5 multiplied by 4 is 20. 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. 3 multiplied by 6 is 18. And 5 multiplied by 6 is 30. So from this original fraction, I have now managed to get 5 equivalent fractions. Let us write them here. 6 upon 10 is the first one. 9 upon 15 is the second one. You can put is equal to sign because they are basically all equal in value. 12 upon 20. 15 upon 25. And 18 upon 30. So, similarly, you all can solve question 4 from your textbook. For each fraction that they have given, you will try to get 5 more fractions in the same way. You can use any number to multiply and get another equivalent fraction. Okay, now let's go to question 5. In question 5, we have to find out whether the given pair of fractions are equivalent or no. I will take an example here. 6 upon 10 and 9 upon 15. You are given 2 fractions and you have to verify whether they are equivalent. Now the method is simple. Write the fractions down. And now we have to do cross multiply. Now what is cross multiply? 6 will be multiplied by 15 and 9 will be multiplied by 10. So I will do 6 multiplied by 15, 6 multiplied by 15 and 9 by 10. Get the 2 answers. 6 multiplied by 15 is 90. 9 multiplied by 10 is 90. Now if you get the same answer on both the sides, then you can say therefore they are equivalent. If you do not get the same answer on both the sides, that means they are not equivalent. Let us take another example. Say 2 upon 3 and 5 upon 9. We have to verify whether they are equivalent or no. Write the fractions down and cross multiply. So 2 will be multiplied by 9 and 5 will be multiplied by 3. On this side I get 18, on this side I get 15. Now you can look here, it is not the same answer. So my final statement will be therefore they are not equivalent. Now let us go to question number 6. Write an equivalent fraction of 3 upon 4 with numerator 24. I am solving a similar example as the sums given in your textbook. So this is your fraction 3 upon 4. You have to get another equivalent fraction which will have a numerator of 24. The denominator we do not know. We have to find out what it is. So 3 upon 4 is my original fraction. The equivalent fraction is having a numerator of 24. Now look here, the original fraction had a numerator of 3 and the equivalent fraction needs to have a numerator of 24. Now from 3 to obtain 24, what should I do? The number 3 is small, the number 24 is big. From a small number 3 to get a big number 24, I need to multiply it by something. 3 multiplied by what will give me 24? It is 8. As per the rule for equivalent fractions, whatever you multiply in the numerator, the same digit has to be multiplied in the denominator. So if 8 is multiplied in the numerator, 8 is also multiplied in the denominator. So the new denominator will now be 4 multiplied by 8, 32. So this is your required fraction. Let us take another example. 2 upon 7 with denominator 35. So 2 upon 7 is my original fraction. My equivalent fraction needs to have a denominator of 35. Originally it was 7, it has to become 35. Now from 7 to get 35, I need to multiply it by 5. So if I multiply 5 in the denominator, I need to multiply 5 in the numerator as well. So the new numerator is going to be 10. So 10 upon 35 is the required fraction. Now let us go to question number 7. Write an equivalent fraction of 28 upon 40 with denominator 10. Now the original fraction is 28 upon 40. I need to get its equivalent fraction, which is going to have denominator 10. Now 40 has changed to 10. How will I get 10 from 40? Obviously, I cannot multiply 40 by something to get 10. So this is an instance of division. So 40 divided by what will give me 10? I will be divided by 4. Now whatever I do in the denominator, I have to do the same thing in the numerator. So I will divide the numerator also by 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So the required fraction is 7 upon 10. Okay. Another way of solving this sum is, if you get confused with division and want to do multiplication, you can do that also. 28 upon 40. 40 has changed to 10. If you want to multiply, always do it on the lower side. So if you want to multiply, you can multiply on this side. 10 multiplied by what will give me 40. 10 multiplied by 4. So here also in the numerator, I have to multiply something by 4. So what multiplied by 4 will give me 28? It will be 7. So in this way also I will get the required answer 7 upon 10. So remember, if you are doing multiplication, always do it on the lower side. Division will always be on the higher side of the number.